Welcome to Naarm. It's an absolute honour and pleasure to see all your beautiful, resplendent faces here. I want to truly acknowledge you for showing up for this thing called Newkind and for your commitment and your resilience to the embodiment of justice and equity in society. And I want you to pay respects to yourselves and to each other, because every single one of you in the room here is a wealth of knowledge who works in these spaces, from gender equity, First Nations advocacy, ending poverty, race equity. I really would like to ask you all to take the opportunity to learn from each other as much as we possibly can over the next couple of days.
The first point of call is to have an honest and sobering conversation about the history of this country and what does that mean in practical terms.
If we lived in a world where the inherent dignity of all human beings was recognized and upheld, we wouldn't be having these conversations. It wouldn't be a thing to have to aspire to. The inherent dignity of some humans is not recognized.
When we come into the conversation and we talk about the capitalist scene, we are shifting the conversation.
We glorify everything young, new, bright, shiny. We miss out on some of the things that other cultures, and our First Nations culture too, have known for a long time.
What a fabulous day it's been. The conversations that have been happening both on stage as well as off stage. Tomorrow is another fabulous day.
Thank you so much for setting that broader goal into our minds. We'll be feeding in really well to the next panels of the day on systemic racism, climate justice.
To bring people along, we need to use race talk. We need to start talking about racism, because you can't do anything unless you've talked about it. You can't fix what you don't know, and you can't fix what you don't talk about.
Racism is a euphemism for white supremacy, and it was built on the idea of cultural superiority. If you ever get confused about what racism is, that's all it is.
If you hire me because I'm your diversity hire, I couldn't care less, because you'll see me leverage the crap out of that place. You'll see, oh, there's value in having someone from a diverse background.
One of my favorite things to do is to embed accountability within the structure and system itself. If it is that, for example, our values are respect or inclusion or honesty, how do we actually take these values and operationalize them into observable behaviours?
If we did actually understand what diversity can bring to our workplaces, will we be having the conversations that we're having?
I love the whole idea of climate justice as an issue, because I think it just brings so many different things together. You can see how assault and violence in housing and health, all of those things do come together.
On the flip side of that, the solutions exist in mob. Solutions for this climate crisis and how we protect country. There's this community that mob have that is really at the core of how we solve this.
I know there were really deep and heavy conversations, but I do feel rejuvenated, and I feel like I'm ready to kind of start again.
We're all talking about the same issues. We come from it from different walks of life. I think at the end of the day, you can't take away the fact that when mobs come together and talking about stuff that our own lived experiences around some really, really powerful, really, really important topics. It's nourishment for the soul, you know what I mean? And I can live my authentic self in this space, and I think that's really important.
We have had an incredible time. I want to thank you all for being here right to the very last moment. Talk to you soon.